Hey everyone, welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today I've yet another exciting side-by-side comparison between the outgoing 2024 Hyundai Tucson Limited and of course the refresh 2025 Tucson Limited. Now, if you guys haven't followed along here on the channel, I do have a dedicated walk-around video here on this exact Tucson Limited already live here on the channel, so make sure you guys check that video out after this one if you want to know a little bit more about the Tucson Limited for its refresh version in specific. And of course, I will have more content coming over the next days and weeks as these vehicles are released and arrive at dealership lots. But anyways, if you guys have seen some of my content or 2025 Tucson videos in general, then there has been a lot of hype around this newly refreshed model, given some of the changes they made both aesthetically as well as some of the features and options that they did introduce. So I thought, why not put these two vehicles side by side and give you an exact idea of some of the differences, both visual as well as the hardware changes that they did make for the refresh in the current generation, just so you guys get a better understanding of exactly what is going to be different or what to expect in this refresh version if you're either considering a 2024 or own a 2022 through 2024 Tucson Limited here in this trim level. So in this video, I essentially want to take you around the exterior, show you around both these two side by side, point out some of the differences, jump on the inside of both these two because that is where most of the big changes did occur for this refresh, both in terms of the technology, the screens, as well as the interior design and the overall layout. Then we will cover some of the differences in terms of the overall color combinations between both of these two model years in specific, and then of course wrap up this video with the exact pricing differences and everything like that. So make sure you guys buckle up, stay tuned here in this video. There's going to be a lot of helpful, useful information, but without further ado, let's not waste time and get right into it. Now quickly, before we begin, I do want to mention I do have a full dedicated changes video here on the Tucson lineup. So if you're curious about other trim levels of the Tucson, what exactly is changing in terms of features, options, and packaging, I highly recommend you guys check out that video here on the channel after this one, where I go simply trim by trim and name all of the features gained and or lost for that respective trim level across the entire lineup. Now, when it comes to the limited trim in specific, it is going to gain a few additional features than that of the 2024, in addition to all of the enhancements that they made to the features that, of course, it already had. So things that it's gaining for the 2025 model year include the color heads-up display. It's getting the fingerprint recognition with fingerprint scanner, the forward attention monitor here on the steering column. Some of the other enhancements it's getting is the dual 12.3-inch screens with wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay across the board, acoustic laminated front side glass windows, so it should help quiet down the interior just a little bit. Smart Cruise Control 2, which supposedly has an emergency pullover function. So if you're distracted and or drowsy or have a medical condition, it can pull the vehicle over under certain circumstances. So we might have to try that out in a controlled environment here on the channel. It has Hyundai Digital Key 2.0 Premium, so no longer you have to touch the side of the door to actually activate Digital Key. You can now use iOS or Android and pretty much just walk up to the vehicle and the vehicle will unlock or do other commands that you do give it. It has, of course, the HVAC afterblow technology, which will help prevent mold and mildew from building up inside of the HVAC system itself. And there's going to be a host of other small tweaks and upgrades from the 2024. So taking a look at the two Tucsons in front of me, on my left I have a 2024 Limited finished in Abyss Black with the black leather interior, and then on my right I have a 2025 Limited finished in the newly available Rockwood Green with the black leather interior as well. Now, if you guys have seen some of my other videos, then you'll know Rockwood Green is a newly available color to the Tucson lineup that of course first debuted on the all-new 2024 Santa Fe. So good to see Hyundai is rolling out some new colors to the Tucson's lineup, and there is going to be a handful of others, believe it or not, as well, for both the gas as well as the hybrid. So there is going to be a wide variety of color choices available in the 2025 model year, which I am very excited about. But anyways, taking a look at the two vehicles in front of me, as you can tell, it's more of an evolution, not a revolution, not an all-new design. It is simply a refresh of the current generation. So there is going to be some new bumper designs, new daytime running lights, new grills, new wheel designs, stuff like that. But a lot of the body panels are going to be a carryover for the most part, such as the hood, the front fenders, the doors, the roof, etc. Now, anyways, starting at the front end of each of these two vehicles, you can see the 2025 model definitely has a little bit more muscular look that somewhat is borrowed from that of the Santa Cruz as well, versus that of the outgoing 2024 and previous years. In addition to this, you can see this vehicle over here has 10 daytime running lights, 5 on either side, versus the 2025 models, which gets larger, 4 on either side for a total of 8. So slightly less daytime running lights on the refresh version versus the outgoing one. And in addition to this, the turn signals are actually located in a slightly different position as well, where on 2024 it was up on the corner just above the headlight assembly, where on the 2025 it's actually these two top daytime running lights that will switch between white and amber depending on when the turn signal is activated, and gives you a little bit more area that is illuminated when you do activate the turn signals versus the previous model years, which was a little bit on the smaller side of things. The headlight location, as you can see, is pretty much identical between either of these two, but the grille design as well as the overall front fascia is going to be different. You see a lot more silver trim here on this one with the darkened chrome accent grille, with the black Hyundai logo is a new flat stainless steel design, borrowed from some of the other recent updated products. Still have front, side, and rear parking sensors with a little bit of additional enhanced functionality. You do have the 360 camera system. The radar for the smart cruise control system is in the same overall location on the passenger side of the lower grille section. But as a whole, as you can see, it's just a little bit overall tweaked design, a little bit more aggressive looking in my opinion, a little bit less rounded, and as a whole, comes down to personal preference, which one you do prefer, but I really do like the updates that they did make versus that of the outgoing ones. Now, continuing down the side of the two vehicles, the wheel designs are going to be different between either of these two, as well as the availability of 19-inch alloy wheels on the 2025 model. So if you've seen some other videos, the Limited is now the only way for the standard gasoline powered Tucsons to get the larger 19-inch wheels, as the SEL Convenience and XRT no longer feature 19s. They went down to 18-inch wheels. I really do like the updated 2025 design wheel, in my opinion, a little bit more angular looking, and I think matches the overall aesthetic quite well. But again, same overall tire and everything like that. Now, taking a look at the side profile between these two, both are going to have the same body color mirror caps, the cameras on the bottoms, with the nice silver accent trim around the windows that continues on to the back of the vehicle as well. Now, smaller items such as the door handles are going to be revised between the two vehicles. As you can see here on the 2024, it has the touch type proximity sensor here, kind of on the outside in that little detent. And of course, the back portion is going to have the normal touchpad as well. But going over here to the 2025 model, you can see the touch sensor is actually relocated in a more ergonomic and easier to find spot, a little bit higher up on the outside of the handle, and it still does retain the touchpad on the back portion. So overall, this might be due to the Hyundai Digital Key 2.0 Premium functionality, but anyways, if you're using the standard proximity touch, it is going to be just easier to use and more ergonomic in my opinion. Now, speaking of that, you do get the Digital Key 2.0 Premium on 2025s, where on the 2024 Limited, it was only Hyundai Digital Key 1, which was limited to Android compatible devices. So a little bit of a limitation there. So really nice that they did change that function. But here on the side of the vehicle, it's actually quite hard to tell the two vehicles apart outside of the updated alloy wheel design. Now, continuing on to the rear end design of these vehicles, the lower bumper design is going to be the biggest change for the 2025 model year, as the lighting setup is going to remain identical with your LED brake lights and running lights up top, and then the turn signals and reverse lights in incandescent fashion are going to be located on the lower rear corners. I know some people out there don't like this design, and personally it's not ideal, I know that, but Hyundai did retain that here in this current generation. But you can see a lot more silver trim, kind of a satin finish in the back of the Limited, with of course the rear and side parking sensors back here as well. Some of the things that I'm noticing are going to be enhanced or different is the flat stainless steel Tucson badging, as well as your H-Track badging on the actual liftgate itself. Backup camera is in the same overall location, but the Hyundai logo underneath the rear window glass is going to be much nicer integrated here under kind of the same piece of glass as the entire hatch itself. It no longer is a separate trim piece that has an outline to it. I really do like this design that they enhanced for 2025. And then in addition to this, I believe Hyundai did enhance the rear wiper size. It's a hair longer than that of the 2024 model over there. So it should provide a slightly longer sweep I'll see if I can insert a clip of that here side by side so you guys can tell the difference yourselves. But overall, it should provide a little bit of enhanced functionality, and then you still have the body color roof spoiler with the black antenna up top as well. That's pretty much going to be a look at all of the differences and items that I have noticed here on the exterior of the 2025 versus 2024 model. Of course, we have little items such as the amber reflectors now relocated here on the trim piece versus that up in the actual headlamp or daytime running light assembly over there on 2024s. So now taking a look on the interior, I first want to start out with the 2024 model. This is the one that most of us are really familiar with. I just want to give you guys a quick refresher and point out a few things that maybe you should keep an eye out for when I go into the 2025 vehicle, just to showcase some of the differences. So the door panel is going to be mostly similar, but some of the changes do occur for the upper side of the door panel, as well as the actual window and lock switchgear itself is a little bit revised, more tactile, more angular feeling. Really do like that update. The door sill plates do get updated for 2025. The seats remain very similar, both heated and cooled in both of these two vehicles, but the overall shape and color, really, I can't tell a big difference myself. But the biggest difference I want you guys to keep an eye out for is in the dashboard area, the steering wheel, and of course the center console. That's where Hyundai really did change a lot of the things and update the overall design of the interior. The AC vents are located higher in 24 versus that of 2025. Of course, the entire dashboard layout is revised with those new dual 12.3-inch screens under one panoramic display. Of course, you get the new steering wheel by Hyundai and that new center console layout specifically for the shift-by-wire vehicles. So that changes the entire flow and the overall space utilization of the interior for the Tucson lineup. Now up top, both vehicles are going to have pretty much the same panoramic sunroof. Not too much has changed up there near the controls for that or the auto dimming interior rearview mirror. Out back, again, things are very, very similar. Door panels do change slightly on 2025. You get 3-stage heated seats instead of 2-stage heated seats on this particular vehicle. Door sill plate is a nice silver accent, but the seats themselves I think are very similar, if not carryover, again for the 2025 model year. And then taking a look, you get USB-C ports instead of USB-A in 24. Still a very nice vehicle as a whole. And then coming to the trunk area of 2024, there is one other item I did want to mention. I think the space, power liftgate, everything like that is pretty much a carryover between both these vehicles, but you can see incandescent lighting here on this particular vehicle where they did swap that out for LED for 2025, which I think is a nice, again, very small enhancement, but a very functional one on a daily basis. So taking a look on the interior of the 2025 model year, a few things are immediately going to be noticeable as big differences from 2024, but there are going to be many smaller differences as well. Now, starting out here on the door panel, as you can see, the overall design language is retained from the pre-facelift versions, but there are going to be several small differences. So for example, that gloss black trim on the upper section is gone, replaced with this kind of rubberized faux accent trim. The cloth still does stay along with the padded armrest with the gloss black around the window switchgear, but the actual switches themselves are more squared off, more angular, and do have a nicer tactile feel to them, which I think is a huge upgrade. Still have the silver accent door handle pull, but again, the memory seat controls up here are a matte black plastic instead of the gloss black that was found in that former trim. Down below, you still have the door pockets with the ambient interior lighting, along with the Bose premium audio system. Now coming to the door sill plates, as you can see, they are the stainless steel design for both the first and the second row of the vehicle, which is not something that Hyundai typically does, but they went, a little bit further and gave you that nicer premium aesthetic on this, over $40,000 SUV, which I think makes it, just a little bit more worthwhile and gives you that nice premium feel. Like I mentioned, the seats themselves are pretty much identical in a carryover for the most part. I cannot distinguish any differences there. But then coming to the actual center dashboard layout, the steering wheel along with the center console, that's where a lot of the big enhancements did occur for 2025. So immediately you can see the nice new panoramic display with the dual 12.3-inch screens behind them, all of the physical buttons and controls for the HVAC as well as the infotainment system, and then of course the floating center console for the shift-by-wire systems, which totally, differentiates the center console layout. So taking a look across the dash, you have the fingerprint recognition, new feature for Tucson for 2025. Some of that nice cloth material, which matches the door panel right up here. And then these displays are, very similar to that of the recently refreshed models from Hyundai, such as the Sonata, the Santa Fe, etc. But do have slightly different design and overall UI to them versus that of these vehicles. So I really do like the overall aesthetic and graphics that they have implemented on this vehicle compared to some of those other Hyundai models. And then as you can see, the dashboard vents are located a little bit lower than they were for 2024 and prior. And then the screen themselves is kind of flip-flop. So before the screen was slightly lower, integrated into the dash. Now it's kind of integrated into this shelf that runs across the entire, front seat in and of itself. You have, the new steering wheel that is still going to be heated. It is a 2-stage heated, but does have the, 4 dots for the Hyundai logo in the middle. You have the Smart Cruise Control 2, Highway Drive Assist on the left side, Lane Follow Assist, etc. Audio multimedia is now going to be on the right side. The forward attention monitor is located here up on the steering column itself. So that is, again, a new feature to Tucson. New switchgear and controls for the stalks on the headlights, as well as, the rain sensing wipers over here. New updated buttons and controls down here to the left of the steering wheel for the dimming, the power trunk. You have traction control off, as well as your electronic parking brake. And then, of course, as I mentioned, the shift-by-wire system does move the actual shifter here from the center console area onto the actual column itself, which frees up and then changes the overall design of the actual center console itself. Gives you this nice open space that you do not get in other trim levels of the Tucson unless it comes equipped with the shift-by-wire system. So do keep that in mind, as this is like the big reason as to why this new design is here in this particular limited trim level. Now, of course, we do have the 12.3-inch CCNC full infotainment system with navigation, as well as wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Of course, Sirius XM, AM, FM, USB, Bluetooth inputs as well. This does include BlueLink Plus, as does both of these vehicles. So they are going to be free for the lifetime of the first owner, assuming you got a 2024 or later model of the Tucson equipped with BlueLink. And then you do have all of the physical buttons and controls, which are not found in the Limited over there, just because they use the touch capacitive type. So these are all physical buttons. You have a volume and tune knob. You have knobs for the dual zone automatic climate control. And then you have this small touch type display for the heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, and then some of the other fan speeds and, defroster functions and everything like that. So much less in the way of the touch type controls, which I am certainly a fan of, and it should make using it on a daily basis just that much better. Now, continuing on a little bit further, this is that open center console, as I mentioned, with additional storage space. You have USB-C for both the data and charge ports, as well as a 12-volt outlet down below, and then just a good amount of overall open storage space. Center differential lock, drive mode select, auto hold, engine stop start off, hill descent. Here's your 360 camera system, as well as your parking sensors on and off all the way over there. And then you do have the digital keypad, as well as the NFC wireless charging pad front and center here at the front of the console, with the little indicator lights up front. So I'll go ahead and put the phone down, see if I can get those lights to light up there. As you can see, a nice large strip, which does feature the animations that show it is actually charging your phone. So overall, I think this is going to be a very nice feature to use, especially with the wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which of course now this head unit does support. 2 good-sized cup holders on the right side. Now, unfortunately, I think the one downgrade for the 25 Tucson is this new key that Hyundai has been rolling out to all of their models. This is one of the last vehicles to switch over. Actually, I believe the 25 Palisade uses the older key fob as well, but it still has all of your functionality on it. It's just a little bit of an awkward, larger size, feels cheap. But I think this is, one of these small downgrades, but does have the Hyundai logo there when you turn it sideways. Still have a nice soft touch leather wrap padded armrest with a decent amount of storage inside. And then up top, the roof is relatively unchanged for the most part. They may have changed some of this LED lighting for the vanity illumination. Still have the auto dimming interior mirror with HomeLink. Overhead LED lighting, BlueLink SOS, power sunroof, and power shade controls up here. And really, that is all going to be retained from the 2024 and previous Tucson. So really, most of the changes did occur down here with the technology, the steering wheel, Also, some of the physical buttons and controls throughout the interior, along with that enhanced technology, which, like I said, hopefully we'll be able to test out in the future with Smart Cruise Control 2 and some of those unique features. So let's go ahead and take a look at the back seat. So take a look at the back seat of the 2025s. Some of the changes are, again, on the smaller side, but do make some difference when you're using them, you know, on a daily basis. Still have the same hard touch plastic up top, but you can see they did eliminate that gloss black trim on the upper section of the door. Still have cloth insert and gloss black around the actual window and heated seat controls. But when it comes to those heated seats, these are now 3-stage heated seats instead of 2-stage that was found in the 2024 and prior model years. So again, a very small change, but it gives you a little bit of customization and usability. Still have the silver accent door sill plate that was found on the front seat. And then again, when it comes to the actual seats themselves, I did not find any noticeable or distinguishable differences. Still has the recline function on the left and right hand side. That has been a very nice feature of all Tucsons. And there's going to be a quick look at the front dashboard. Out back, the only big change here is going to be the USB-C ports instead of USB-A in the older ones. Nice to still have AC vents and the map nets on both of the 2 front seats. And of course, you still have the center armrest with the 2 integrated cup holders. So outside of that, oh, one other thing they did eliminate is the ultrasonic rear occupant alert here in the headliner. And I believe that is because it uses a new radar-based occupant alert system, which is a little bit more advanced and can sense slightly smaller movements on the interior. Now, I'm not exactly sure if that sensor is totally gone from the headliner and just located somewhere else here on the interior. But just note that the 2024 and previous ones will have the ultrasonic up here in the actual headliner, where 2025s no longer have that implemented, at least visually, here on the ceiling of the roof. And then when it comes to the trunk area, the only distinguishable feature I was able to find is the addition of LED illumination for the cargo area versus that of incandescent. So you still have the subwoofer for the Bose audio, release handles to fold down the second row seats back here, and a 12-volt outlet. But as you can see, this is a very nice crisp LED light coming here from the left side of the trunk area, where, believe it or not, this is actually incandescent in the 2024 model that is sitting right over there. So I think that is a small, but again, useful upgrade. Still have the temporary spare tire underneath the floor with additional storage space. And overall, still a very nice size compact SUV if you're in the market for a SUV of this size. And then finally, wrapping up here on the passenger front seat, all of the same physical controls for the seats do retain, including height adjustment. Unfortunately, still no lumbar for passengers. But you do have that new console design as well as the dashboard layout with this very large shelf that you can use for a smartphone or just storing different objects. And then you still have the LED illuminated glove box, which is a very handy, useful size with your brochure, manual, everything like that on the interior. So that's going to be a look at the differences between the 2025 Tucson Limited and that of the 2024. So underneath the hood of both of these 2 vehicles, you're going to find the exact same powertrain configurations and overall setup. So both are going to be powered by a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission, powering either the front wheels only or all 4 wheels if you do select all-wheel drive. Now, power output is identical at 187 horsepower and 178 pound-feet of torque, but I think MPG is going to be slightly revised between the 2024 and 2025 models. In fact, we'll just go ahead and take a quick look at the 2 window stickers. As you can see, 23 city, 29 highway, 25 combined. And if we go over to the 2025 model, I believe this is rated just a little bit higher at 24 city, 30 highway, 26 combined. So you are gaining 1 MPG all around, here opting for the 2025 model over that of the 2024. Now, whether or not they realistically will get any different MPG out in the real world is to be determined yet, but according to the EPA, there is a 1 MPG advantage going for a 2025 versus that of a 2024. So now finally, I want to wrap up this video with the different color combinations and newly available colors for 2025, along with the exact pricing information. Now, all of the new colors across the 2025 Tucson lineup will be Ecotronic Gray Matte, Titanium Gray Matte, Atlantis Blue, Rockwood Green, and Cashmere Bronze. Now, I do want to caution you guys that not all of those colors are going to be available on the gasoline-powered Limited or on, the gasoline Tucson in general, as some of those are hybrid exclusive colors such as cashmere bronze, and that is likely just due to the fact of where they are built. The hybrids are still built over in Korea, where many of the gasoline ones are built here in the United States. So I'll go ahead and have the image up on the screen, or the graphic, so you guys can actually look at the trim you want, the interior color you want, and then of course tie it up to the exterior colors that are going to be available. Now, when it comes to the interior color availability, specifically here on the limited trim, there is, of course, the standard black and gray that are carryover from 2024, but there is a new gray and green two-tone interior available in addition as well. So there are going to be 3 different interior color choices on the limited in specific, in addition to the normal black and gray. So very cool to see that they added a 3rd option, and again, that is exterior dependent. So if you want that interior and or a certain exterior, you do have to see if that is going to be compatible and if they actually build that exact color combination that you do want. Now, finally, when it comes to the exact pricing information between each of these 2 Tucsons and their limited all-wheel drive configurations, as I did showcase here in this video, for 2024, the limited all-wheel drive started at $39,635, including destination. And for 2025, a limited all-wheel drive now starts at $41,190, and this represents a $1,785 increase. So as you can see, there is a fairly sizable increase from a 2024 into a 2025, but again, you are gaining additional features and options, as I showcased here in this video, that you do not get on 2024 or prior model years of that particular vehicle, such as heads-up display, fingerprint recognition, the forward attention monitor, and of course all of the enhanced and updated technology such as smart cruise control to the wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, CCNC infotainment system, and all of those other design elements throughout the interior and exterior. So I think overall, now seeing the 2025 in person, I now understand why there might have been a larger price increase versus that of previous model years, given those updates that Hyundai did make. Now, is it still a fairly sizable and noticeable one? Yes. But again, I think a lot of these new technologies that Hyundai are rolling out are extremely beneficial to use, especially the Smart Cruise Control 2 functionality. If it is an actual safety item, where if it detects an unresponsive driver behind the wheel, it can actually stop the vehicle, turn on the emergency lights, and hopefully alert other drivers. I think that is something that, again, hopefully we'll be able to test out here on the channel in a safe environment. But I think as a whole, I think that alone is worth the price difference if you are considering the 2 vehicles and do value safety or items such as that. So overall, that is going to do it here for my comparison between the 2024 Tucson Limited and the newly refreshed 2025 model year vehicle. You guys have to let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Do you like all of the changes? Do you like some of the changes? What are your overall thoughts between the 2 vehicles? Which exterior design do you prefer? Do you like the interior center console that is now floating versus the full type over there in the 2024? I think I actually enjoy the column mounted gear shifter rather than the push buttons in the Limited over there. I think they're a little bit unresponsive and slow, where the column mounted one is a little bit more responsive and quicker to react. And I think just the updated technology with the 2 12.3-inch screens in front of you with wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay is a game changer to use the Tucson on, again, a daily basis. So let me know all your thoughts and comments down in the comment section below. Make sure to stay tuned and subscribe here on the channel if you guys are not, for additional 2025 Tucson content coming here in the very near future, as I am able to film and kind of get these vehicles on dealership lots. I think as a whole, it's going to be a very good vehicle for Hyundai, a very popular one, and all the updates should be very beneficial to sales, at least initially, and probably over the long run as well. But anyways, I appreciate the support here on the channel. If you guys enjoyed this video and or found it helpful, make sure to hit that like button below, subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to check out additional content I have here already posted and upcoming on the 2025 Tucson. And as always, I hope to see you guys in the next one.